Today I'm talking to Koki Adasi, top real estate agent in Washington, D.C. with Compass. Koki is a D.C. native. He has been named 30 Under 30 by Realtor Magazine and has made appearances on HGTV's House Hunters and CNN's The Situation Room. Koki's start into the business was slow and sure, making just $7,000 his first year. He still loved the business and stayed on course. Today, his business flourishes with a strong, powerful team whose sole focus is on serving the client. He calls it his secret sauce. He and I talk about how he builds a bigger, better business by keeping focus on your clients. Thanks for listening to the Jere Metcalf Podcast, where top real estate agents tell how they do it. This podcast is to share knowledge for realtors and raise awareness for Give Back Homes, where real estate professionals work together for social good. Jet Centers Aviation, Bentley Atlanta, Legends Global, thank you for your sponsorship. All right, everybody, it's the Jere Metcalf Podcast, where top agents or top real estate agents tell how they do it. And today we have a top real estate agent from Washington, D.C. with Compass, Koki Adasi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Jere. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
So, first of all, everybody, I want you to know this guy's been in business for 12 years. He was in the top 30 or the 30 under 30. He has been on HGTV. He's been on the Situation Room?
Situation Room.
On CNN. I'd forgotten because there are so many. He is now the president-elect for the Greater Capital Area Association of Realtors for 2019. And tell us how you got into the business.
Sure. So let's go back to 2005. I was a year out of college and wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my career long term. And I was working at Clark Construction in Bethesda, Maryland, doing accounting. And I had a very good friend who played basketball with me in a men's league, and every game that I would see him, he'd always talk about real estate and the fact that he thought I should get into real estate. And so I would listen to him, and it wasn't until the time he mentioned that he's planning to retire, and at the time he was like 29 or 30 years old.
Wow.
And I was 23, and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. Maybe I should take him out to lunch.
Retire at 30? I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I took him out to lunch and just picked his brain on how he got started in real estate, and he began his career at 18, investing in properties, and then at 21 started selling real estate. And being that I had sales background, I thought, you know what, maybe I should take a shot at real estate. So I got licensed in early 2006, and still had my job at Clark Construction. Planned to work there for some time, save some money up before making that big leap of faith. And later that year in May, I showed up to work one day, and my boss told me that that day was my last day. And I was
Wow.
like, wait a second. It's not how I had it planned. And
That's usually the best way to get in real estate.
Yeah, to be forced into it. And so I actually will never forget when I left the company, I cashed out my 401k, and it had $800 in it. And I paid the 10% penalty for taking out early. And I really had nothing. And my first year in the business, I sold 2 homes. I made $7,000, and I had friends who'd be like, "Dude, this is not the way.
Like, you can't do this." Yeah.
Yeah. And my one saving grace was that I was really enjoying what I was doing, and having that client interaction, seeing that you're helping someone in like the biggest financial transaction in their lives was a really empowering and just a great feeling to have. And so I knew if I stuck it out and continued to do the things that my manager and broker were telling me to do, that eventually I would have some success. And so in my second year in the business, I sold just over $6 million worth of real estate. Wasn't crazy by any means, but it was a lot better than selling 2 houses.
Yeah.
And that's the year when I was recognized as 30 under 30 for Realtor Magazine. And I always tell folks that, it's not only the sales success. I think the other 2 parts of it that they liked about my story were, one, I was already volunteering at our local real estate association, and I was involved with the community service committee. And then secondly, part of my business, part of my life really is giving back to the community. And that's something that my parents taught me at a very young age, that you always had to give back to others. And so I was at the time, volunteering, coaching at a local high school, coaching basketball, of course, and also was part of a Big Brothers program at the YMCA in Silver Spring. So, I think that whole package is what Realtor Magazine liked, and that's why I was fortunate enough to be a part of the 30 under 30.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. I mean, we all know, I always say, like 95% of people in this business step out within the first 2 years, and it's because they don't often even make $7,000 in the first year. But you still enjoyed the business, even making $7,000. The next year you made $10 million. The next year you did $6 million in sales, and your career flourished. And I love that you came into it with the mindset of giving back right away. I've already pointed out one thing that gives you probably a competitive edge, but what else do you think it is that gives you that competitive edge, that you're such a successful real estate agent in such a competitive industry?
Yeah, thank you. So, service is always important. And, I always tell people that if you think about times when you've had phenomenal service and really bad service, you can find ways to make your real estate practice better, or whatever industry that you're in. And so for us, one pain point that we saw in the transaction was for sellers specifically. And sellers many times have so many details to manage when they're about to sell their property, and they don't have the time or care to handle those. Mm-hmm. And so our goal is to provide a concierge level of service for our clients, and we'll take care of literally every single step of the process for them. From take care of landscaping and staging, getting the house cleaned, wow. Coordinating tours, whatever it is. And the goal is very simple: is we want to give you the best experience possible to help you get to the next chapter in your life, and we want the experience to be so good that you're going to tell all your friends and family about us and our team, and come back to us in the future. And that's the reason why over 80% of our business is done by referral, because we take care of our clients. And same thing on the buyer side. It's like figure out the pain points and how can you address those things early to make the client's experience better.
Wow. So it was really two things. It's service, focus on service and how you service your clients. And in that, always improving. Whatever you do, finding a way how you can, I always say the client's experience. How can you make the client's experience better? Always think from what their experience is, because that's what we're getting paid for.
Yep.
What do you feel is your greatest success, or what are you most proud of as a real estate agent and in your career?
Yeah, so I believe that I'm most proud of in my career, not all the sales and the awards, which are nice, the income that's been made, which is also nice, but actually, seeing new team members, learn how to sell real estate and how to grow a business, and seeing them succeed. And to me, the true success is when you're able to do what you want to do in your life. And so it's not really like the sales, right? But real estate is a means to help you either invest in real estate, or you want to travel with your family, you want to have time off. Mm-hmm. And successful, you can create those things. Excuse me. And so, one agent on my team, CJ Rader, she was on my team previously for 7 years. She's now at a different brokerage. But one thing that I'm very proud to see, she came on the team as a brand new agent. She was a past client, so she enjoyed the experience, and she was like, wow, I want to now be a part of that, helping others have that same experience. And she began investing in real estate, and then fast forward to today, I think she owns, like 6 properties or so in DC, and has built an amazing career, and things like that I'm very proud of.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's really, you are so service-minded and always improving the lives of others and improving the way you help others. Tell us a little bit about the HGTV appearances and the CNN, The Situation. Tell us a little bit about that and how that happened and what that was about.
Sure. So house hunters, and I have to be honest, in this podcast, and I'm
You
sure
better
many
be.
people know, but no, many folks know that it's all scripted, right? And so house hunters was doing a show here in DC. They were looking for folks to cast for the show, and they had selected me for the show, and then they needed me to send some clients to basically cast as well. And we had sent like 4 or 5 clients, and they had to do like a little video audition, and
Yeah.
they didn't like any of them. And so finally, we found a couple, Tom and Kate, who they loved, and they were like, "Cool, we're gonna come out and film their process." And so when they come out to film, they don't film until the buyer is under contract on a property, right?
Uh-huh.
So the three
Right.
houses, those are just 3 houses that are chosen to compare.
I know, they make it look so easy.
Right.
They forget to mention it's all already happened.
Right. So the challenge with it, though, this was during the time when we had a huge snowstorm in DC. We actually called it Snowmageddon, and so the crew could not fly out to film because of the snow. They got delayed by a few weeks. By the time they came out to film, my clients had already closed on the property. So when they went to the property, like to the house that they purchased to film, we had to move all their furniture down to the basement and like kind of hide it.
Oh my gosh.
So that they can take pans through the house of like this vacant property. They also then they went to their friend's house in Virginia and pretended like they were living there during the time of looking for a house. So that's how it all came about. It was actually a very funny episode. If you have time, you should check it out. And that was my experience.
Make sure you send us the link to the episode, and we'll share it with everybody.
I will.
That's awesome. And tell us a little bit about CNN, the Situation Room. What's that all about?
So CNN Situation Room, they were doing a segment on the federal tax credit, which was expiring. And I believe this was back in 2009 or 10. Mm-hmm. And it actually was the last month when the tax credit was before it expired, and the market was going crazy. I mean, you had buyers who wanted to get in and buy a home because they want to take advantage of this tax credit. And so they came out to a property that I was assisting a good friend, and actually he was my personal trainer for a while, Chris Gorez, and he's buying his house in Virginia, and they came out to film, and they interviewed him and his family and myself as well, and talked about the impact that the tax credit was having on buyers in the marketplace. And so that's how I got pulled into that, and I'll kind of just dovetail back to the Realtor Magazine 30 Under 30, and getting that award was such an honor, and it really helped to get other opportunities like this with CNN and different news outlets that I've just tried to leverage over time to build a stronger brand and name for myself.
Well, it sounds like you do things like a lot of times we all have our strategy and our agenda, which everybody, you've got to make sure it's valuable, but you also come from such a place really of service and giving. I think that's a strong message to me and to everybody. It needs to be to everybody listening to our interview. In this business, it's so full of opportunities to make mistakes and have failures and things that we didn't see coming, especially when we're newer in the business, but at any time in the business. Do you have any, you can answer this one or both ways. What's one of your biggest lessons from your experience in this business? And is there a story behind it that you could share to help everybody kind of relive it and apply it to our own careers?
Sure. So I have two things. The first one has a story, but the second one has a story. So the first one is simply that whether you're selling real estate or if you're selling cars or whatever industry that you're in, when a customer or an agent asks you a question and you're not sure of the answer, it is okay to say, you know what, that's a great question, I'm not sure. Because what happens is, you want to answer the question, you want to give them what they want, and sometimes you'll fudge it a little bit, or you'll just give something that's totally incorrect, and
not a good move. Yeah,
not a good move, and it can and will come back to bite you. So just be comfortable in saying, you know what, that's an awesome question, I'm not sure the answer, but I will check it and get back to you.
And so I'm going to pause you there. Don't forget your second one. But I remember being new in this business, and I was one of those people that was, whatever I did, I was like all in, knew everything about it. And I got in this business, and I remember being like, I don't like not being comfortable with what I don't know. But sometimes the biggest sign of someone being good at what they do is when they're comfortable not knowing.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and when somebody's not comfortable not knowing, everybody can read it, no matter what kind of wool you think you're pulling over people's eyes. And it's just, even as we grow our business, it's important to remember that. Some of the best agents that I've worked with in the industry were the ones who I picked up on. When they don't know something, like, they're cool not knowing, because that doesn't mean they're not competent. That's just something they don't know that we can explore together.
Right.
But what's the other one?
The other one is, so, our business is so competitive, and I find many times that agents feel like they can't share anything with other agents because they don't want them to take their secrets.
Yeah.
And I think the total opposite is true, and we need to share and be collaborative and treat agents as if they're our clients. And that sounds so crazy.
Say that again, because you're so treat agents as your clients.
As if they're your clients. So,
yes.
It sounds crazy, but relationships are everything, and you never know when you're going to be in a transaction with somebody, and because you had a positive experience with them previously, it's going to help you and ultimately help your client in that interaction. And just 2 weeks ago, we hosted our second annual agent appreciation brunch, where we invite agents that we worked with over the past year.
You say we, you mean in the Greater Capital Association of Realtors, or
I mean
you personally?
Me and my team, me and my real estate team.
See, this is good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, so Team Koki.
I love this.
We hosted this brunch, and we invited about, I think, 30 some agents to the event. We had about 17 show up, and
what
I love most is everyone's like, all right, so what's your angle? Like, are you trying to recruit me? You want me to come to your team? Want to come to Compass? I'm like, no.
I just want to say thank you.
This is a simple thank you for being awesome to work with last year and having a great transaction, and we're simply showing appreciation. That's it. And
that is one of the most brilliant, because people do it across markets, but I've never seen somebody do it in their own market. And where else but in your own market? I mean, that's I'm just going to let you keep going, because I just love that. One of my biggest things, everybody knows I've got this workshop. I've given it to a few agents in Atlanta. I am getting it out there to the rest of the world very soon. One day this interview will be replaying. It will be sponsored by my workshop. But right now, one of the big topics in the workshop in delivering business is treat other agents like their clients.
Yeah.
Lateef Hasten in Napa, in our interview, she sells wine vineyards, and she says clients come and go, but especially the good ones, that doesn't mean disregard your clients, everybody, but that just means how valuable other agents are, who we are dealing with in every transaction. And when an agent wants to bring me a quiet listing or a deal first, or work with me first, it's the same. I mean, that's huge. So agent appreciation.
Yep. And that's really it. It's like an hour and a half event. We have just great networking, mixing, mingling, and I speak for a few minutes and just tell everyone that why they're there, and show my appreciation, and that's it.
That's huge. That is we're done. We can let you go now. That's all we needed.
See ya.
All right, so my next question. And this may be a little the same. Or, well, first of all, in those lessons, do you have any stories you want to share of when I can say shit on the show, so I will try not to too much. But when the shit hits the fan and you're like, oh my God, this is awful, and then because the way you handled it or the lesson you learned, it came out amazing. No, I didn't tell you about this question beforehand, so
I'll tell you right now. I have a transaction which definitely takes the cake for the most interesting transactions of all time. And basically, long story short, I am listing a property, helping a developer sell the property, and he did a year-long amazing renovation on the house. We listed, multiple offers. We're pending. It's going to sell around $1.4 million. And 2 days before closing, I received an email from an attorney who says, "Hey, you can't sell this house. I'm filing a lawsuit against the owner." And I'm like, wait a second.
Wow.
So I forwarded to the owner. I'm like, hey, what's going on? The owner's like, I have no idea what this is. So the person that my client, the owner, bought it from, apparently fraudulently bought it from the previous owner, right? And so there's now a cloud on title, a list pendens, and we can't settle until that's taken care of. So let's go to the other side of the transaction, right? The buyer's agent. The buyers are pregnant. They have their house, they have their house on the market, and I believe we're under contract, and we're ready to move into this new house, right? So to say that they were frustrated and just like beside themselves is like a very like understatement.
Yeah.
And so the agent and I like worked together so well, because it could be one of those things where like it kind of blows up and everyone's just not happy and nothing moves forward and happens. But the agent and I worked through it very well. We had the open lines of communication the entire time, and it didn't help get the solution that they wanted, but it helped knowing that we were all on the same page, trying to get to the same conclusion. So
well, in every problem, there's an opportunity. There was an opportunity for that to just stay a problem, or there's an opportunity to develop a relationship and bring it and get it to close.
Yep, absolutely. So it just goes back to treating everyone fairly. And there's times when things get difficult, shit hits the fan, and it's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
Always folks that we don't have life, like we don't have emergencies in real estate. Like every problem, there's a solution for.
Exactly. Right? Well, exactly. And a lot of times in our business, it can be easy to complain, or it can be easy to look at all the problems. But that's why we're here. That's why we need real estate agents, because there are problems. If there were no problems, this were easy, then Zillow would have taken over the industry a long time ago.
Right.
We would need real estate agents. What is your biggest aha about this business or about being successful?
Your biggest aha.
We think we're just going to put a sign in the yard, make lots of money, and it's going to be easy, and realtors don't really do anything, and they just make money anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I would say, my biggest aha in real estate is that humility is always key, because I don't care, how much experience you have, how much success you've had, how well you know the market and comps and housing, whatever. There's times when things happen outside of what you were anticipating, and it almost like defies logic, right? Like you run the house and it's going to sell within this price range, and for some reason it just doesn't happen, or on the flip side, you think it's going to sell within a certain price range, and you get multiple offers and it goes 100K higher than you ever imagined this house selling. And so I think it's important for all of us, as you get more and more experience and more success, to always have some humility, right? Because we're not experts in everything. We don't know everything, and there's times when our knowledge will not meet reality.
Well, and I love that you said that. It makes me think of usually the downfall of a business is lack of humility. If you think about, I don't want to name companies, I don't know who's listed, but there have been really big companies in the past. Now, I'm not thinking real estate, computers, for example, and they were huge, and now they're not. And then other companies, because of, oftentimes I think it's humility and recognizing as big and good and great as we can get, that we still don't know what the future holds, and we still always have things to learn and always need to, in the transaction, but also in growing our business, have humility and gratitude, just gratitude for our success.
Yep.
Was that okay? Can you edit that?
Yeah.
Now you got to edit what I just said, but that's okay. Anyway. What is the one thing that you wish you knew when you got into this business or became a realtor that you know now?
The one thing that I wish I knew when I got into real estate is that in order to last, you've got to list. And so the saying goes, if you list, you last.
Yeah.
And listings create opportunity, creates leverage, for marketing your business, for building your brand over time. And working with buyers, we do it all day long, and buyers are great. And at the same time, listings just give you more opportunity to reach a broader audience. And so that's one thing that took me time to realize. And I think if I'd known it earlier, I may have shifted some things in my business and tried to attract more listing opportunities up front.
That's funny. When I got in this business, I didn't want to represent buyers. I'm looking this way because I'm looking at Isaac. But anyway, yeah, I didn't want to represent buyers. I was like, are you kidding me? I just want to put my sign in the yard.
Right.
And then I found out actually listings are there's a lot, to me, listings aren't as easy. But it is. You get the opportunity that you don't get when you're representing buyers. You can do more deals. You just grow your business with it. You're absolutely right. List to last. So I've got like my three final questions to wrap it all up. And one of them is, what do you find? Usually this is kind of a technology, but in technology or outside of technology, other than your phone, what do you find is your most powerful tool in being successful? Or your favorite tool?
Outside of my phone. So like no apps.
Apps are good. Apps will work. Okay. You're just the phone itself, but apps are okay. Yeah, apps are definitely apps, CRMs, things like that.
Yep. So for the apps, I love the Compass.com app and also HomeSnap. Because you have like instant information to active listings, pending properties, sold properties, or just like any property that you're driving by a house and might look run down. You want to pull up the info real quick. HomeSnap and Compass.com to me are two great apps that I just love. Outside of those two, Instagram. I love Instagram.
Now, what do you like about Instagram?
I like the ease and brevity of Instagram. Yeah. It's just great photos, some quick caption, and you're on to the next. I don't spend like a ton of time in it, but like when I'm in it, I'm pretty focused and it's like going through it. So Instagram is great for real estate, great for marketing. It's great for keeping tabs on what's happening in your friends and clients' lives. Instagram is a top one for me. Excuse me.
Awesome. I'm going to pause for 1 minute and ask you this, and then I'm going to finish my last two. Just thinking about Instagram and the different tools that you use, what do you find? You said referrals, but you're even in referrals, there's a way that you generate and make sure your name is staying in front of people, because a lot of people can get referrals. Yep. How do you really keep the momentum of the referrals and that success? What is is it your emails? Is it your phone calls? Is it social media? Is it a combination? What do you have in place to keep you current and relevant to consumers and clients?
Sure. Yes. So the number one thing is that you want to have at least in my opinion, have a mixed use of media. And so, we use social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. We're pumping out, information, whether it's a resource to a great article on the market or one of our hot new listings that we're sharing. We also send out a monthly newsletter. So people are, hearing from us. We're always sharing relevant information on what's happening in the neighborhoods, how the market's doing, what do we have active on the market, what's coming soon. But to me, the secret sauce.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Woo!
It's the face-to-face. It's the face-to-face.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of events throughout the course of the year, from bi-monthly happy hours in different neighborhoods across the city, where we're inviting past clients. We're inviting current clients that we're working with, and it's simply a time to get to know them better. Our sole goal is to strengthen the relationship, and you can only do that by spending time with people.
Your sole goal is to strengthen the relationship.
Yep.
I think that's just key for everybody to hear and remember. My sole goal, strengthening the relationship. Because when the relationship is strong, not only is that good for our business, but that when we establish relationships, we establish trust, which gives us the ability to really help our clients understand what to do and listen so we can guide them and get them what they're looking for. What's that?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And we have next week, October 13th, we're having our annual fall festival. And this is one of those events that just like makes me so giddy inside. So we'll have this year over 400 people attend this event, and we have food trucks. We have a kids pet
Wow.
zoo. We have face painting. We have bouncy house. We have basketball games because I'm a big basketball fan, right? We have
Yeah.
we have a college football like den for the dads who want to just like watch college football and chill and like not play with the kids. We have tons of games for adults and kids. You know, we're gonna have we have like a, a life size tic tac toe board on the basketball court.
So, so see, y'all, I totally lied because I've got like 2 or 3 more questions now, and then we're going to do the final two. When you have an event with 400 people, these
uh,
are current and past clients, and is this also sphere of influence or just current and past
yeah,
clients?
yes, current and past plus sphere as well.
So when you have the party, you obviously send an invitation, but what do you do to cultivate business through the event? Do you send an invitation? Do you call before? And what's your follow? Because you can have an event, but if you don't have the follow up, it just kind of fizzles after all
Yes.
that money and effort.
Yep. So first thing is we will send out we sent out an email invitation, and then I follow up, via phone call with anyone who hasn't either opened up the invitation or responded to the invitation. And to me, it's more impactful to have that call, right? Have that live voice on the phone saying, "Hey, make sure you got the invitation to our event. Would love to see you there." And then at the event, so last year we had a photo booth, which we had every family that came through. We took a professional photo of them, which we then followed up with after the event with a thank you card as well. It was a nice touch, and people used it on their holiday cards, which was actually really nice.
Yeah.
And then at the event, we always tie in community, right? So we have a local nonprofit, who will speak, for a few minutes this year and explain what they're doing to impact the community. And that's someone that we're aligned with and that we support, financially. Last year we had a different organization, but every year it's a different nonprofit. So yes, so there's definitely follow up like before the event. And then during the event, where everyone on the team's goal is to talk to everyone who comes there, make sure we get photos with them, make sure we're learning more about them, and we note everything that we learn on Salesforce, right? So if I hear, Jere's
Well,
system,
now you've got the Compass CRM coming in. You're going to have
right.
We'll have to see how that goes. Okay.
Well, I had to shift it over.
Right.
It's Salesforce based, which is nice because that's
Yeah.
what we've used for the last like 8 years. But yeah, so that's how it all unrolls. And again, after the event, we'll have that follow up as well. With something in the mail to them. But
So-
that's my favorite event of the year.
Well, you probably, but I'm thinking too, when you align with a nonprofit, obviously you're doing it for a good cause, but in everything there's opportunity. In lining up with a nonprofit, there's probably a follow up through the nonprofit that you do, or you could get some synergy to help with the infrastructure.
Cause.
Yeah.
Yes. So at the event we have all right. So we give away prizes, and we have a raffle. And so if you want, like, everyone gets one ticket.
Why do I have to dig this out of you? You're supposed to tell us this up front, Koki.
Sorry.
Like, come on. Like, what else are you holding back?
So for each additional ticket is $5, and all that money
cool.
goes to the nonprofit. So we also
see, that's
raise
awesome.
money at the event, yes, for the nonprofit.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, so we've got a few more minutes, because the other question I can't believe I didn't ask yet before I go back and ask the two more, but your listing presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about how that goes, what works
Sure.
for you, and how that's evolved. And some people have this. I mean, I've heard every strategy in the book, and it all works differently. So, what is yours?
Yep. So for folks who know about the listing presentation, I used to do a 2-step process, but now I much prefer the 1-step process. And once we get that lead in, whether it's a call or email, we'll follow up with our like seller questionnaire. We're walking through like what's their motivation, why are they selling, how much they want to sell for, do you have a mortgage on the property, what updates have you done in the last 10 years, getting all the details, for that house and for that seller. So when I go into that meeting, I want to be empowered with all that
And do you do that with a form that they complete, or okay?
Yeah. So if they reach out via email, then we'll send it to them via email. If they call me, then I'll ask them the questions on the phone. All right.
Smart.
And then prior to our meeting, we're sending out.
So and don't lose your thought, but I want everybody to hear this. Everybody, like, he communicates the way they do. If they call you, you ask the questions on the call. If they email you, you email them back.
Correct.
I think that keeps them comfortable and keeps them moving forward, and it's also about serving others.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so
And,
so go ahead.
so yes, so then prior to the appointment, we then send out to them a pre-listing package, and in that package it has information about myself, our team, our sales stats over the last 12 months. Things for them to prepare, for the meeting, questions for them to ask other realtors if they're interviewing other realtors, and to me the major value in that is the last thing that I want to do when I'm sitting down with you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is to sell myself. I'm sending you all my information up front, so you can go online, you can read testimonials, you can do whatever. But when I'm with you, it's all about you and your house and helping you guys get to the next chapter in your lives. And hopefully, I've already sold myself, before that meeting, by sending you all this information to review. And then at the appointment, the first.
So what he just said, Isaac, I keep interrupting you, but that was like, we could play that 3 times, because it's all about the customer. Everybody wants to sell themselves. It's all about them. That was some good stuff. I hope I'm not making you lose your train of thought, but you keep getting these good things, and I want to make sure we emphasize that people are hearing this. This is good. All right, keep going.
All right, so then at the appointment, I like to start. Of course, you want to build some rapport when you initially get there, but I like to start with the tour of the house. And on the tour, I'm taking a ton of notes on the property, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is that when I leave the house, I should have every detail about the property in my notes. From upgrades to the layout of the property, bedrooms and bathrooms, everything should be in there. Let me sit down, and then I reconfirm what they've told me over the phone or via email, regarding that seller questionnaire. So we go over all the questions again, make sure that I understand fully what they said, because a lot of times what happens is I'm talking to Mrs. Seller, and she's giving me her answers. However, Mr. Seller may have some slightly different answers to some of the questions, and so I want to reconfirm those questions and answers with them both together.
That's huge, because now I'm going to interrupt you again. But I want to say this, because one of my big things in that workshop that I have, that what's going to come out one day, is when you, the most important thing you can do when you're winning business and working with a client is not script, but listen. And I say that because you're asking them questions, which is how you listen. And then when you get there, you're repeating to them what they said to you to show them that you're listening. And then you're getting the correct answers to reemphasize that you're listening. And you're actually not, it's not about telling them you're listening. It's about, that's what listening is.
Right.
So tell us the next.
Yeah, man, it's just funny because I'm thinking about psychology, and this is like couples counseling. If you go to counseling, they will ask you questions, and then they will repeat what you just said back. And it's a weird thing because
I need to go to some counseling.
It feels so reassuring, to know that you've been heard.
Yeah,
you've been heard, and they understand what you're saying, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
That's huge. It's reassuring to know that you've been heard.
Yep.
And as agents, I think agents are the ones trying. Often we are trying to be heard, and we will never be heard if we're not hearing them first. As crazy or wrong or whatever as it may be, if they are heard, nothing's going to happen until they're heard, which is why we need to listen.
I like the way you said that. You just hit me with a jewel. I like that.
I'm good. Yeah. Well, here we go. But Chris Voss never split the difference. Have you read the book? It has a lot about that. He doesn't say it that way, but that book you will love. Who doesn't? That book's changed my life. Yeah. We tag him every show, and he retweets the show, and he's the bomb, and he has literally changed my life. So, nice. So you repeat. So you sit. So do the tour. Sit down. Review everything you've already discussed. Yep. Repeating it back to them, making sure you've got it right, because you're often dealing with 2 people. You need both perspectives, and then
I go into our listing presentation. So I have a slide deck of maybe 10 slides. It's not super long, and it just shows them the key steps in the process. A lot of sellers think that we put a sign in the yard, we get a contract, we go to closing, but from the time that we're pending to closing, if it's a financed transaction, there's 17 steps to get to closing. So how do we have a successful transaction? And then we walk through that process, and then of course close out with comparable sales and price.
Exactly.
And hopefully, in the questionnaire, you're able to get the price from the seller before you meet with them. And a lot of times sellers will answer you and they'll say, you know what, you're the expert. That's why I'm having you out, Jere, to tell me the price, because we have no idea.
Right.
I say, Jere, you know, that's funny. What I find is that most sellers, although they're not experts in selling properties and they may not know a price, they usually see that, you know, what the neighbors' houses are selling for. They go to open houses and they have a goal of what they like to get to. So what's your goal, Jere? And what will make you very happy if we can get this number? And I always try and get a price, because I need to know if this person is dealing with reality, if they're thinking of a price so high because they have a very high mortgage, if they've invested a ton in their property and they think it's, you know, so having that information up front, the more information that you can get, the easier the meeting will be with you and the seller.
And I would bet from what you just said, when you're in that initial interview or repeating back to them what they've said, oftentimes that's where that more of that information comes out before you ask them.
Yep.
So
yep.
I have to do this. This is your interview, but it's so relevant what you said. So I wish I could remember who I learned this from, but it wasn't me. But I'm using it anyway. I wish I could quote him because I heard him speak at an event somewhere. But this is what can everybody see this? Like, see that little arrow? Like This is putting your house on the market, and this is your house being sold, right? Like everybody thinks that's what happens. And like I even had a guy the other day. He's like, "Why do I need to pay you a commission? Like, what do I need to pay somebody a commission for, like, opening a door and letting them in a house?" So Here's where I'm going with that. So that little second line.
Yeah.
Can y'all see? Oh wait, wrong camera. Anyway, that's what really happened. Or we don't know. Yeah. Sometimes it's here. Sometimes it's here. And this is a Seth O'Byrne. But it's like we don't know what the weather or the market has to offer. We can make our predictions. But who do you want to be your captain? You know, who do you want to be? So we even have 17 steps, or some people have 500 or 23 or 2. But whatever it is, there's still going to be all these extras. And we don't know how many or what it's going to be. Back to exactly what you said. So anyway, you go through that presentation of the 10 slides, and then
after that, we're now going to the listing agreement to walk through that and have that signed. And there are times when the seller's not ready to sign yet. And to me, it's, you know, they don't have enough information to feel comfortable moving forward, you know. And so the key is to figure out, okay, well, what's holding them back? What's making them not feel comfortable yet to sign and move forward in that process? And
what do you usually find that is? Or do you have...
Well, so it's either typically they want to interview another agent or two, you know, before making that final decision, or they're not comfortable on the price. And so I always come back to, you know, Mr. Seller, I don't control price. You are actually the only person that can control the list price of your property. And what your house will sell for is what a buyers want to pay and what you're willing to accept for the sale of your property. You know, based on my professional opinion and where the market is, here's the range of where your house can sell. And so where in that range do you want to fall?
Well, also, and it depends on the house and the price point, but even so, every property, I always remind them that, you know, there are things that happen in the market that we don't see coming. So one thing may happen today, which nobody knows but the buyer, and even the timing's based on that. But where we end up, where the market is when we're ready to list in 2 weeks, first of all, we could sell it before then because we do pre-marketing, or something might happen in 2 weeks and we're going to reassess the market and adjust accordingly, or you're going to decide how to adjust because I'm your captain.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So anyway, okay, now, where are we on time? Yeah, now we're getting real close, but that was a lot of fun. That was all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love to hear what people do on listing because everybody's different. And the best thing today there's so much you've given us, but treat agents like your clients because they kind of are, because they have access to exponentially more buyer. Each of us knows maybe 300 people. And so do all the 300 agents that we know and more that are in our market. And the other thing sorry, y'all. Anyway, the other thing I was going to say was listening. But listen, like going on your listing presentation, I get lost in my thought and I'm like, wait, we got another one. But in your listing presentation, it's not about you, it's about them. And asking those questions, it's about them being heard, because you cannot service them if you're someone that cannot hear them and what they need, and how you can't deliver to people you can't hear. Because we have to fulfill their needs, even if we're the professionals and we know what we're doing. And because they also are really the ones in the driver's seat and controlling the process.
Right.
So, your favorite tool, we had a few, HomeSnap. What was the other one? Compass, the Compass app. And then Instagram.
Yeah. IG.
Yeah, Instagram. I'm a big Facebook person, but I've got Isaac over here who helps me stay on Instagram.
Isaac, tell her where it's at. It's Instagram, right?
It's IG.
Oh my God, seriously?
My man.
Oh my God. Anyway, nobody can hear Isaac, but he said IG, at least if you're listening to the show. So, Instagram. And then the other one was, if there's one book, and if you tell me you're not a reader, I'll forgive you.
And I got the book done.
What is the book?
But I have two. I have to give you two, though.
That's all right.
Because, all right, the first book is the book that I started it all, because I read that in 2006 when I was like.
Wait, what is the book again?
It's The Success Principles by Jack Canfield.
Yeah. Great book.
Major jewels. Amazing book for anybody who's getting started, or even who's in the business and having like tough times kind of breaking through. That is a very powerful book that I highly recommend. And then the second book is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. My pal Al, who I've met. Met him a few times. He's a great guy. He's got a crazy story about his life. I mean, this guy has seen adversity at its highest, from the crazy car accident, where he flatlined a few times, to dealing with cancer now. Amazing guy, and a great book. Highly recommend for folks who want to get their day started off on the right foot.
And so, do you do Miracle Morning every day?
I try. So I'm an early riser, and I've been an early riser since I was like a little kid, because I started working when I was 4 years old, and that's serious, not a joke.
What did you do when you were 4?
I helped my dad with his paper routes. So he delivered
That's
Washington
awesome.
Post and the New York Times at like 4 a.m, and it would take us like a couple hours, to do all the routes, and did that from like age 4 until 9th grade. So I get up at like 4:30 now today. Like I'm 4:30 during the week. Weekends I get up around 6, sleep in a little bit.
It's huge.
And,
yeah.
Yeah,
and
and
that affects your entire life is better because of that.
I think so.
Now, did you go on the paper routes with your dad because you had to, or was it?
So that's a great question. There's 5 kids total. I'm the middle of 5.
Oh, wow.
And for whatever reason, my dad was like, I was like the main one to go and help him. So like occasionally my brothers would come, or my sisters would have come out, but I was like the main one to go. And like, this was a 7-day a week, 365, a year job. Like there was no days off delivering papers. And, there was times when it'd be like, 10 degrees out and snowing, and like, the last thing you want to do is go outside when it's freezing in the middle of the night to deliver papers to like a senior community in Silver Spring, Maryland. But yeah, that was the grind, and I definitely, like, looking back, like, just like thank my pops. Like I hated it at the time, but I think it's made me who I am today.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome. I'm thinking about my kids. I need to do that with, because it really instills habits from the beginning. Because we are our habits.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge. So, Miracle Morning and Success Principles are the 2 books. And then, this is the wrap-up question I love to ask everybody. What is... I love it. Koki's like, give it to me.
Well,
and we haven't even, by the way, like, there's other things I want to talk to you about, but we're running out of time. So you have to come back on the show. But what is the one thing that you hope our listeners take away from this interview? There's one thing.
I got it.
Oh, good. What is it? It's always good.
All right. So the one thing that I want all the listeners to take away today is to know that service is the rent that you pay for your room on this earth. drop
That's
mic.
powerful.
Yeah, I heard that's a Muhammad Ali quote, and that like really hit me hard when I heard it. I was like, man, I wrote that in my jewel book.
That's powerful.
But yeah, it's like, I mean, whatever you want in life, you just gotta serve others, and it'll come to you.
Yeah, I've had something similar where people talk about, and Kit Cummings, he's from Atlanta, and he's a great speaker in Atlanta. He speaks to people that, he doesn't go to the big events where everybody's a successful real estate agent. He has spent time on death row. I mean, it's moving. He's really spent time with people who've had a rough run, and he says, if there's one purpose that you have on this earth, if there is any purpose, or there is only one purpose, and it's to help others. That's it. Whatever you are, wherever you are, is serve. Oh my gosh, like here I am, like cry on my podcast, but it's so true. Thank you so much.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I just gotta, say this because I mean, it's the first time that you and I are like really like, chatting and vibing.
I know we gotta do this again.
Your energy is incredible, and you are a phenomenal listener. I mean, I can just tell from this podcast here, the way you're listening and like hearing what I'm saying and like reflecting it back to me is pretty powerful. And this is awesome. It's pretty special.
Thank you.
So keep doing it, keep sharing it with people, and hopefully your audience will continue to grow because this is awesome stuff.
Awesome, thank you, and thanks for being on, and thanks for sharing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so one thing, because we didn't even touch on your teams growing and keeping sanity, which we meant to.
Part two.
That's all right.
Can we do a part two?
Absolutely.
Isaac's like, I want to do a part two.
That was good.
Yeah.
Isaac's like, Isaac calls the shots around here. He's the producer. He's like,
It's good stuff.
he was like, that's good.
We'll do a part two. So, question: are you going to LA? The compass.
I am. I booked my room, but I've got to book my flight. But I'll be there.
So we're gonna meet in person, and we'll chat and connect. Yeah.
I can't wait. Awesome. I'll see you there. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.